In case y'all haven't heard, K Michelle is back and she is definitely exercising those Twitter fingers. Who is in her crosshairs now? We're going to discuss that along with the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. What episode is this? This is season 17, episode 15, Waking the Dead. The dead hath arisen. Phaedra's taking the ladies to the cemetery for her date. Porsha and Shamea trying to figure out how they're going to navigate each other in the aftermath of the mama and daddy drama from last week. And K Michelle is back on her Twitter game, and it is actually Shamea that is in her crosshairs this week. So let's go ahead and get into what we got to talk about. We got a lot to cover today. So let's dive right on in and stick around to the end because we're going to get into the destiny swapping of it all as well. This is a fairly new concept for me. I don't know how many of you guys had heard about this previously, but it seemed like it was just something that I seen on social media about a week or two ago. So then to see it pop up on this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, I was like, oh, wow, this is very, very interesting. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So again, stick around. Make sure you guys like this video if you haven't already liked it. Go ahead and tap that button. Tap in. Go ahead and hit it now. It's free for you to do. So let's get into the tea. Shout out to our friends over at Housewives from a Housewife. For those of you guys that don't know, Shamea was on Watch What Happens Live last night. And during the episode, one of the things that came up was a question about how each of the ladies could be a better friend in terms of what Shamea views as a friend. And so her advice for K Michelle when K Michelle's name popped up was just stay the course. You don't have to switch teams or pick sides in order to make it within this group. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to that effect. Well, K Michelle obviously did not like what she heard. And she happened to post some tweets directed at Shamea, and some were just directed casually at the show. So I'm going to read you first the one on the right. It says, definitely no advice needed from you on being a friend. Me not messing with you has nothing to do with me jumping ship. And you know this. I have the same friends I've had all season. The difference now is I don't have to sit around and defend you all day. Dead that narrative now about teams because you know that's not what's happening. I kind of want to go back because what's interesting is she says this. I've had the same friends I've had all season. Who are the friends? And I want to know, because if she's saying the only friend that I can think of that she's talked about consistently behind the scenes or off the show has been Angela. Okay. And we know that K Michelle loves her some Charles, and she's talked very highly about Angela in interviews. Other than that, she's just coming around to the whole Phaedra situation because for some reason Phaedra intrigues her. It's been rocky with Porsha. It's been rocky with Drew. Now it's rocky with Shamea. But is she speaking about maybe Kelli or maybe Cynthia? I'm not really sure because it's hard for me to determine. Well, I guess we could also say Pinky. Maybe Pinky is the person that she's referring to. Or maybe there's another group that we just don't really see her with in terms of the show and how they work behind the scenes. I don't really know. So I'm curious about that. She says the difference is now I don't have to sit around and defend you all day. I do see K Michelle defend Shamea after some things have happened. She doesn't want to see anybody being bullied, which I do appreciate from K. And she calls people out, but K does a very good job of calling people out in the confessional. I do wish sometimes she would say what she has to say in the moment because I feel like that's really when it's needed. For instance, she calls Porsha a liar in one scene where Porsha says, well, I thought me and Shamea was on a good path in Switzerland. It felt like there were moments where Shamea and Porsha, like they were having a vibe or a good time together. And I did feel like, oh God, I wish that we could have seen what would have happened had this particular moment never happened. But here we are. So we got to keep it moving. All right. K Michelle also says, I enjoyed Scotland so much. The club, friendships grew stronger. That was the first time for me I completely bonded with the group and got to loosen up and be myself. I also got to see some things I needed to see. Okay. So this must be where she refers to, going back to the show, she referred to Shamea turning into a monster, a grizzly bear, a Frank and Mia, perhaps, right? So then she says reunion needs to hurry up. Then she basically calls out Shamea Morton and says, don't play coward games now. You ain't gonna shift a narrative on me. Your third time trying and speaking on me. You scared about what I might tell. Tell them why I don't mess with you. Does the Waldorf ring a bell? I'm loyal until I'm not. See, you can't play fake victim with me. I know too much. And she says, chill. It almost sounds like to me that she's threatening to spill some tea that could do some type of damage to Shamea in some way, shape, or form. Like, I got something on you. I got something locked in the chamber. And to that, I'll say this. Shamea, okay? This is where I want to give you some course correction. I think Shamea came into this wanting to have friends and probably also maybe too wanting to have some alliances for herself because maybe she felt like the odds were stacked against her. I really don't know what happened between her and K Michelle at the club, in the midnight hours, at the hookah lounge, with the four Africans, with the mom and the tig old biddies. I don't really know what happened behind the scenes. What I do know is this. Shamea, is stop telling these people your business. Stop telling these people your business. Because what happens is everybody turns on Mad Day. You turned on Mad Day. K Michelle turning on Mad Day. Porsha turned on Mad Day. Everybody mad and everybody turned up. So everybody know everything about everybody. Stop telling these people your business. Nene said it best. These are your co-workers. This goes for you, K Michelle. This goes for you, Shamea. These people are your co-workers. These are not your friends. Once you get that in your thick skulls, then you guys will be better off. Nobody will know your tea. Nobody will know your business unless they run around the street, down the street asking your neighbors. They won't know nothing that you got to say. Don't invite these people into your home after hours. Make sure if you are hanging around with these folk after hours, that your cell phone is on record. Because otherwise, at the end of the day, what you say can and will be used against you. I don't care how much so-and-so might have been calling you behind the scenes, trying to hang out with you and trying to help you, trying to figure out if you're going to navigate the candy coated click or not. Whatever the case may be, stop talking to these people after hours. Y'all ain't filming. Stop talking. She want to talk to you. Don't tell her your secrets. You listen to her. That goes for everybody. Now ain't nobody got nothing to use on nobody. Now y'all got to actually work with what's happening on the show. See, K Michelle, to me, this is another example of what is bothersome for a lot of people about what you do on this show, is that you take things that happen off camera that nobody knows anything about, and then you bring it to camera. You don't talk about it in scene. You talk about it in confessional. So it's never actually a part of the drama. And this is the same thing that you did with Porsha. It's the same thing. It's the same thing about bringing up the ex that Porsha allegedly was sleeping with. It's the same thing. Please stop. Deal with what's happening in the moment. And if you can't deal with it in the moment, then keep it off the playground. Period. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a viewer. Okay? It's frustrating. All right. So let's also move into the episode itself. And I got to shout out the Bravo Shade Room for this one. This is kind of interesting as well. And I got to call out Shamea on this too, because here we mother freaking go. So this episode begins. Kelli, y'all might dislike Kelli. I don't, because I do think that Kelli has a certain element of Delulu that I like for my housewives. Like, why are you getting $70,000 worth of teeth when you definitely should be using that $70,000 to pay your bills? I mean, this to me, that's Housewives. That's typical Housewives. Whether y'all like it or not, we questioned a lot of things over the years. We questioned Chateau Charest for a long time. Okay, let's not forget we questioned Chateau Charest for a long time. Act like you didn't, and you only know if you know. So y'all cut it out with all this unbelievable stuff. Yes, would I have done that? No. If you're gonna give me $70,000, give me the $70,000, and yes, I'm gonna be like Phaedra, and I'm gonna go get me some Crest White scripts, and these chompers are gonna have to do until we get out of this mess. Okay, I get it. But anyway, the thing that I do like about Kelli is that Kelli calls out what she sees, right? And y'all don't like that because it often comes counter to people who are enamored by Porsha. Listen, I too am enamored by Porsha. I mean, Porsha's fun. She's funny. She's effervescent. I get it. I totally get it. But I'm also the type of person that I want to make a good show. And it's not a good show if somebody can't call out the hit BIC. If nobody can call out that person, then that's not a good show. The HBIC in charge has got to get activated. They have got to be activated at some point. It's got to be somebody with enough gumption to go against the grain and call things out like she sees them, even if she is seeing them from the perspective of who some people feel like is the underdog, which is Shamea. But I like the fact that there is somebody there to call it out and at least have the underdog's side in something as support. So she supports Shamea after the dinner that goes to HE double hockey sticks. And she advises, like, girl, let's go out. Let's go to the club and let's shebang bang. Let's do it up, right? And to be honest with you, I'm like, yes, go ahead. Because back in the day, didn't all of them go to the club together after Sheree and Marlo back in South Africa get all the way up into it on them stairs? Y'all remember that? Didn't they all go out to the club afterwards? Wasn't Marlo somebody throwing up money and Candy and Phaedra was putting that money in their bra straps and whatnot? So I kind of feel like, girl, go to the club. This is par for the course. You need to get up out of there, because at a certain point in time, it does start to feel like a little bit of a victim mentality. And so you just sitting around pouting and poo pooing, it ain't gonna do nobody no good. I get it. You had a moment with your ex best friend. Secrets came out, but girl, let's keep it moving at this point. And I know I might sound selfish, but at the end of the day, let's keep a thing going. All right. So the girls are at the club. We ride slow. We doing things that the boys don't do. We move, they doing all of that, right? So they dropping it low in the club. K Michelle is singing very special. She's doing all of that, right? Listen, this is what I'm living for. This is what I want from K Michelle. I want for K Michelle to be up in there singing her throat down. Okay, that's what I want. K Michelle, just get up in this jamboree and sing your throat down. Have a good time. Yo, the late he who all up in these people's face and whatnot and whoopty woo, but do it in real time. That's what I want to see. And I know you trying to practice. I am so sanctified and I'm delivered and I gotta work. I gotta make a country album, so I gotta be accepted by the people. But girl, that ain't good TV. I need you to get on here and do your thing. Do what that people paying you for. Act up a little bit, right? And sing your face off. So she does that. She's singing to Phaedra for the birthday. Then she passed the mic to Drew again. I like to see this because I don't even understand they beef. So let's keep it pushing too. Drew get the woo. Can you woo woo woo? And then next thing you know, Shamea stomping into the 90s. She's coming up into the club. She dancing. And I listen, Shamea, this what you need to do. You need to become the monster that they are saying that you are. And you need to stomp into the 90s in every scene. And you do like to dance and twerk and stuff. So girls, twerk a little. You know what I'm saying? Twerk on them. Twerk on them at this point. Because at this point, I mean, what else you gonna do, girl? You can't wallow and cry because people gonna call you a victim because I just called you one. So you just need to just go ahead and suck it up and twerk around, right? Just twerk around. And so she does that and Porsha ends up leaving. Now, Porsha, I'm not mad at Porsha leaving in this moment because it ain't many times that we've seen Porsha walk up out of a scene. And I do feel like, I don't know, I might pop off. So I can get that. I mean, just out of trying to also put myself in her position, I would be like, oh heck no, she ain't come stomping up in here. She got some nerve come stomping up in here after she talking about my mama. But on the flip side, I'm like, Shamea, go stomping up in there, right? Go stomping up in there, because at the end of the day, wallowing ain't gonna change nothing. That's a life lesson for y'all. It's a life lesson for me. Wallowing ain't gonna change nothing. So you might as well stomp around, okay? Stomp around. Next, okay? Let's keep it pushing. Porsha leaves. They about to sing Flatline or something. One of Porsha singles or something. I don't know ain't that a slow song? But y'all nowadays ain't no tempo and no songs on the radio, no way. So everybody dancing real hard to slow songs. So every video you see on TV right now, it is an artist singing a slow song, but they are dancing their life away. Okay, they are doing 8 counts for your life to the slowest beats ever. So maybe they was gonna, do a flash dance, a flash mob to Flatline. I don't know, but she missed her cue. She out of there. Meanwhile, Drew and Angela Go Nakeds are outside. I can't believe she had the nerve to come up in here with Porsha after she did that to Porsha. I can't believe it. The gall of that woman. Well, for whatever reason, the scene makes it look like Angela and Drew left. Drew went to go check on Porsha. Phaedra went to go check on Porsha. Somebody needed to go check on Porsha in that moment, because that's what I would want somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes sense. So that I'm not mad at, but the way it did look like the girls kind of scattered. But when I went back and I watched that scene, Shamea, you might have just been in your victim mind in that moment, right? You did muster it up, as Giselle would say, muster up. You did muster it up, and you got in there and you sang or did something on the mic. When I replayed the scene in slow-mo, Cynthia is in the crowd, okay? Cynthia is in the crowd. She says, I stayed and left after her performance was over. She posts that right here. And even Angela says, the lie sounds better if I ran out the door, while the truth is I ran to the stage to support you. Surprised you missed me. Okay? So there is proof, at least, that unless somebody gave this video to Angela and I was trying to blow up the screen some, but Angela, as of right now, from what this looks like, is literally right there. So, I mean, Shamea, if y'all slow down the scene before, you will see what I'm saying. And this is apparently from that night. So I'm not mad at Angela when she got the receipts to prove what she got to say, right? I'm not mad at it at all. And Angela ain't going nowhere, because if you watch What Happens Live last night, they were asking something about one of the housewives and if they were overrated or something. It was something that they were asking about. And the woman that was on with Shamea had to answer somebody. And I think she said Angela, because Shamea was like, you better not say me. And so then they both said Angela, and Andy was like, well, she's not going anywhere. And I'm like, well, ooh, Andy. Ooh, I felt like Shrek. Ooh, tell us who you like, who you really, really like. So there is that. All right. So I wanted to just showcase the other things that have gone on with this episode. Now, the girls leave, and then the next day it is time for breakfast, and we're splitting up the groups. Phaedra tells Porsha that, hey girl, I'm gonna go take Shamea and Cynthia and Kelli to the graveyard. Maybe I could bury some beasts in your name. I don't know. But I did like that Phaedra told her, hey, I'm gonna have a conversation with her, because we need to get a better understanding of what's going on with her. And Porsha's like, it's up and stuck now. Whatever she on, I'm on. So what we gonna do? Fair. That's fair at this point, right? But we got to talk about Porsha in a second. So Phaedra takes Cemetery Girls out, and in the car they talk to Shamea about what happened. And Shamea is upset because she feels like everybody skedaddled when she came out on the stage, and Cynthia's like, no, I didn't leave when you came out, right? Because Shamea had expressed to the other girls, to Pinky and K Michelle, everybody left when I came out, right? They probably left after you sang, maybe, and they probably skedaddled then. That may have been what you felt, but they didn't skedaddle during your performance, babe. You got to roll the tape back, okay? So Phaedra, once again, is very much like, well, moms and children are just off the table. But I feel like Phaedra can never see anything that's done to Shamea. And maybe it is, as Shamea said on Watch What Happens Live, because Phaedra is technically the frack to Porsha's frick. So maybe she would have a blind spot there. But I would say to Shamea, I'm glad in the moment that you have decided to sort of stick to your guns, but she still apologizes. I'm not mad that she apologized to Phaedra because we're still trying to celebrate her. But at a certain point, Kelli says something that was so valid later. Later on, Shamea is going to apologize again to the whole group, minus Porsha and Drew, because Drew had run out. And as Shamea is apologizing, Pinky's like, oh, girl, you and this apologies. You are a professional apologizer in the confessional. She's like, and I don't want to see no YouTube apologies either. I don't either. Okay, Shamea, I don't either. Kelli says it best, though, in her confessional. She's like, girl, stop apologizing. Stand 10 toes down. Stand 10 toes down. This is the problem that I think that Shamea has, is people pleasing. And I'm going to tell you what happens to you when you are a lifetime people pleaser. The people going to end up being mad at you. They're going to be mad at you because you don't really probably want to apologize in this moment. But I feel like you're apologizing to appease the people. Do you think if Kenya has said this, that she would be apologizing? No. She would have dropped that bomb and been like, yeah, I said it. Do you think that Nene would have apologized? No. She would, I said what I said. Okay? No. I don't even think Kim Zolciak would have apologized. No. See, here's the thing. You've done enough apologizing. And at a certain point in time, it is going to be difficult because you can't, Pinky is right. That ain't something you can just apologize for. Okay? Whether any of that stuff that y'all said is true or not, an apology ain't going to cut it, especially one in front of the group. This is something that you're going, if you ever apologize for this, you're going to have to sit this person down and sit with them. And that's going to have to be a long process of forgiveness for both of y'all. Now, in the interim, stop apologizing. Stop it. Again, this is what I say, Shamea, at this point in time, you should become the monster that they all are treating you as. And that monster is something that is in their minds about you, not who you actually are. So what do I mean by that? You got to let these people think what they want to think because they're going to think it anyway. So if you stand toes down on what you say and do, you will have a much better time because you really just won't actually give an. Okay? I ain't going to say the word, but y'all know what I mean. You ain't going to give up. Beep. Stand on something. Stand on something. Next. Porsha, at the same time that this is happening in the car, Porsha calls her sister. They get to talking about what happened. She says that we were getting along, and then Shamea blows up about this whole situation. It's one thing I got to say that I don't agree with Porsha on, and that's that Shamea was trying to use her daughter as a flex because there was a rollback of the tape where Cynthia was saying, well, Shamea was saying at least she still had a relationship with Pilar, right? And for whatever reason, in Porsha's mind, this is somehow a flex for Shamea. That sounds crazy to me. And I know a lot of y'all gonna probably think, yeah, she used that baby as a flex. That sounds so insane to me. Clearly, the girl is thinking our daughters are friends. If like, I don't want to take that friendship away from my daughter, and I don't want to lose the relationship that I have with her daughter, especially if, as Porsha says, our daughters, she was there during my pregnancy or birth or whatever it is. Naturally, she would have a connection with the baby, with the child. That's not a flex. If that's a flex, it's one I clearly don't understand. It sounded to me like she was just happy that if they weren't in a good place, that she could still at least have some level of relationship with the daughter, because at the end of the day, I don't believe Shamea wanted their friendship to go away. I think that Shamea was still hopeful that their friendship would survive this. Period. So I just don't think that that was any type of flex that Shamea was doing. I disagree with that. I think and I think that level of thinking, there's something that I do feel about that level of thinking. The other thing that I feel like is, it is interesting to me that Porsha feels like Shamea is trying to trigger her. Okay. Now, when I think about this trigger word, it takes away any onus, okay, for a situation being effed up, right? And it positions it more as, you want me to react. You're trying to get me to have a moment. You're trying to get me to blow up. I don't see it that way. I don't. I see it as, the girl is frustrated. She's about to blow up. She has been holding on to this for quite some time, and she blew up on you. Was it the right time? No. Was it probably the worst timing? Yes. But do I think that, to me, sounds very much how K Michelle sounds when she says they're out to get me. Okay? That whole statement is very much in line with, they are out to get me. The people underneath the stairs are out to get me. They're plotting on me. Girl, who is plotting on you? And what are they plotting to do? If it is that black, the mention of black is meant to trigger you to explode, then that, to me, Porsha and K Michelle are talking about similar, almost similar experiences. Someone is trying to poke you to get you to blow up. I just don't see that being the case. Somebody trying to trigger you, that almost says to me that nobody can come to me with anything. Because if they do, they're trying to trigger me. They know what they're doing. They're trying to make me explode. That doesn't sound reasonable in a group of friends who are going to have issues at certain points in time. Yes, I do understand that some people will come on these shows and poke at somebody because they know that they might want to have a moment. I just don't see that being the case here. I think that if you continue to think like that, it's a very interesting way of thinking. And it tells me that either you've been in this game too long, or because nothing will be natural to you if you feel like anytime you get upset that somebody is trying to trigger you. That makes absolutely no sense in real life to me. But whatever. That's her belief. She also asked, is this some type of destiny swapping thing? So I'm just going to go and I'm going to show you guys this. I don't know very much about destiny swapping. I want to point you to someone who does. I'm not going to play all of this video, but she breaks down what destiny swapping really is, how it works, and how to protect yourself from someone doing so. So when Porsha brings this up, I reflected back on this video and I had to ask myself, and this is Thequeenpo. You guys can follow her on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description so that you guys can follow her for yourself and you can actually get an idea of what destiny swapping actually is versus what you may think it is, because I got such a better understanding of it when I listened to this video, and I'm just not going to play it because it's a long one, but she breaks it down so well. I really would not have had a clue about how it actually works from the standpoint of, you have a predetermined destiny or a destiny that you have in mind for yourself. It's almost like getting on an airplane and the airplane has a destiny or a destination that it's going to reach. Now, when you are destiny swapping, that doesn't mean that that person is stealing your destiny. What that means is that they're hopping aboard your plane. They're almost getting off of their plane and going to where their destiny is, because either they don't like their destination or they don't like their life in its current incarnation, and they see where you're going and they want to hop on you and in your train, and then they start to mirror your behavior and the things that you do and your goals and in the ways in which you move, right? So broken down like that, I got it. And what happens is you begin to feel weighed down because there's this person who is doing what you want to do, and now their dreams have become your dreams have become their dreams, and they are now trying to almost convince you that they've always wanted to do these things and you shouldn't be doing those things, so that they can at some point in time be the only person doing them. Now, with that in mind, it made me ask myself, has that been a thing for both of them? Because they have been such good friends for such a long period of time, what I think it boils down to is, has there been a level of competition amongst these two ladies, or because they were so entrenched in each other's lives in such an interesting way that they maybe wanted some of each other's experiences, whether it is being on the show, whether it's marrying well and wealthy, whether it's singing and dancing, or whatever the case may be. Has that been a factor for the two of them as they've grown and grown up? And just a note, there's more that K Michelle actually tweeted. In case you guys needed more. Someone said she didn't shift the narrative on you. She just said she unfollowed you because you unfollowed her. K Michelle says, girl, I just watched what she said. This the third interview where she's trying to get ahead of it and start the narrative that I'm jumping ship or switching teams, when she knows everything I've dealt with her and what happened. I don't fall in line. I can think for myself. I'm fair. I don't deal with her because of her. Not cool for a so-called friend. Again, I feel like sometimes with Kate, it's never happening on the show. It's what's happening outside of it. And until you tell us what actually happened outside of her bringing up the candy coated click, she apologized. What next? What else did she do? What other offense did she now do that was not so bad then, but is so egregious now? That is my question. If it was so egregious then why didn't you address all of that then? Every time you have a chance to address something in full, it never fully gets addressed. So now here we are, weeks on weeks and months, a year later, now you're upset at all these things she did. All of the things she did at the Waldorf Hotel. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, the girls get in from the cemetery. Half the girls try to go to the spa. Porsha tells some of the girls, Pinky, K Michelle, Drew, and Angela, that she was hoping that she could make up with Shamea at some point, or that they would at least, if she was open to it. K Michelle in her confessional, again, says she's lying. She wasn't, after all the conversations I've had with her, she wasn't trying to make up with her at all. Again, K Michelle says nothing in the scene. Period. Okay, so she does tell Drew, because Drew acknowledges, thank you for welcoming me last night onto the mic with my song. And K Michelle says, oh, I just like to play around with people or something like that. And I'm like, you've been trying to fight her. Or no. I don't know. Anyway, the girls get back from the cemetery and it's time for a dinner. During this dinner, Cynthia gives a very nice speech to Phaedra. All the ladies look really, really good. Porsha knocked it out the park. Cynthia, very, very. Phaedra, all the OGs looked perfect. When Porsha starts giving her speech, Shamea is kind of like, y'all make it seem y'all acting like y'all best friends. Kelly's like, yeah, we don't see them out together. We don't see them on social media together, nothing like that. And I would say that we did see them on social media together, like during 4th of July weekend. Honestly, I feel like this. At this big age, I'm not posting on my social media. I'm not posting everything I do on social media. My life is my life, right? And I'll post the parts that I want on social media. So I don't feel like everything needs to be posted when I talk to somebody or when I hang out with them. That's crazy to me. So anyway, they get emotional because for some reason, as they're talking about the cemetery, K Michelle brings up how she almost died in the hospital. So she starts crying. Definitely the mood changer there. Then Drew gets upset thinking about her dad. Angela gets upset thinking about her mom. Drew has to leave for a second. Porsha goes to check on her. During this period of time, Shamea chooses to apologize again. Roll of the eye at this point because I'm just tired of it. When Porsha comes back, Pinky tries to bring up that Shamea was talking about the night before, and Porsha wisely sidesteps everything Pinky's saying and brings it back around to Phaedra. This ain't the time, girl. This ain't the time for you to try to make this a moment into something that I'm not trying to go there right now. I'm done with it. And this is where Porsha excels because she understands when the time is for something, and she's not going to let you dictate when that time is. Period. That is OG behavior. And you do need that energy on a show like this. So at the end, they all jump up for joy and they celebrating. But here's where the gotcha's going to come in. Next week, we're going to see a Halloween party. And George, Mr. Crash for Cash, is going to appear. And it's going to sound like he is saying something to the effect of not knowing if he did or did not sleep with Shamea or something. He's very cagey. And the way it comes across in the preview is almost like Angela is vindicated. So we're going to have to watch and see how that plays out. How does this factor into what we had heard in the previous couple of weeks with Ashley on the phone and with Angela and what she said? And now with him saying this, it's not looking too good. Shamea, my. Anyway, y'all, make sure you guys check the links in the description of this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. This is my recap of this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I will catch you in the next episode.